Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you. Our Region's Business. Innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, how our region's building trades are doing more than building buildings, they're financing them too. Plus, galvanizing our region's entrepreneurs with an upcoming growth conference. But first, taking the pulse of small business owners. PNC Bank has released its latest semi-annual survey of small business owners. Past couple of times out, their attitude has been, well, less than enthusiastic. Pete Vaccaro is here with the latest results. He's Executive Vice President and Market Manager of Business Banking with PNC, a sponsor of Our Region's Business. And Bruce Mallinson is owner of the original Pittsburgh Power, an innovative diesel performance company based in Saxonburg in Butler County. Welcome. Good to see both of you.
Thank you.
So, Pete, folks from PNC have been down off and on over the last year or so. That you do this survey semi-annually, and it's been pretty much gloom and doom. How's the outlook among small business owners these days?
Significantly better, I would say. The outlook has changed dramatically since the spring of 2008. Actually, it's the best that it's been since then. So, I'm very optimistic about the upcoming future.
Any sense of what's going on and what's happening that sort of tilted things?
Well, I think a lot of business owners are looking to hire employees. They're looking to reinvest in their business by way of capital improvements, technology, things of that nature. So the outlook is strong, particularly in Western Pennsylvania as we think about the Marcellus shale industry. And quite frankly, to be honest with you, the early spring has really helped. A lot of outdoor businesses have started early and have really made a lot of headway relative to progress towards the future.
Bruce, how about a little bit about what Pittsburgh Power is? As we said, you're the original Pittsburgh Power. What do you do to improve diesel performance?
Well, we take a diesel engine and we look and see what it's doing and what it's producing and what can we do to make this better. Can we do more exhaust flow, more air intake flow, bring the turbo boost on sooner, bring the fuel on sooner, or on some engines we have to bring it on later. Keep in mind the engine companies, Caterpillar's in Peoria, Illinois, Cummins is in Columbus, Indiana, Detroit, naturally in Detroit, everything's flat. And then when you get into western Pennsylvania or the Rocky Mountains, we have hills to contend with. So sometimes we need a little bit more RPM. We need fuel up on the higher side. So we look and see what is the problem and what is the complaint that we hear from the owner-operators and the small fleet owners, and then we attack that.
I would think, given the run-up in diesel prices as well as gas prices and everything else lately, times pretty good in your line of work?
Times have been great since 1992. That recession was a hard one for us, but we have been growing ever since. 5 years ago, we left Harmerville. We had a 3,900 square foot facility for 29 years. 5 years ago, PNC loaned us the money to build a 14,000 square foot facility. We have now outgrown that. We went from 9 employees to 18. No, 20. We're at 20 now. I just hired 3 more. 2 start next week and another one starts in a month. And we're putting another 10,000 square foot on. We're going to have 3 dynamometers. A dyno is where the truck will back in and it actually runs on rollers. We'll have one for a pickup truck, one for a semi-truck, and one that you just set the engine in. We'll be the only diesel engine shop in the United States and Canada that has all 3.
Really cool. And making these parts in some cases and shipping them all over the world out of Saxonburg, right?
Right, right. This particular is our Pittsburgh Power performance computer. This will add anywhere from 175 to 210 horsepower to the existing engine, all by plugging it into the main harness, working through the ECM, and then this is just a telephone jack that plugs into here, and you have 7 power settings. And each setting will add 30 horsepower to the rear wheels and 75 foot-pounds of torque. And torque is the twisting effect going through the drive shaft, through the differentials to the tires, and its torque is what carries 80,000-pound semi up the hills.
Okay, and that kind of technology helps those trucks climb better.
Helps them climb better, and this is an instant 0.3 or more mile per gallon. So for every 1/4 mile per gallon, we save 1,500 gallons, or roughly $6,000 a year in fuel. So everything that we develop, such as our mufflers, our ported and jet hot coated manifolds, our power box, our programming of electronic control modules, we shoot for at least 1/4 mile per gallon. Some people will get a half, some will even get more. But just think, whenever we get a person 1 mile per gallon, we're saving them $24,000 a year.
Unbelievable. Well, Pete, you know, they say build a better mousetrap and the world will find you, right?
Absolutely, and they certainly have. Just a great company with a very bright future, and obvious by some of the things that he just talked about.
You know, Pittsburgh Power is a great example of one of these companies that's wound up being virtually recession-proof because of the technology they can bring to the table and the expanding market opportunity. There's a lot of interesting middle market and growing companies around Pittsburgh. The rap has been there's no financing available to help them grow. Has that really begun to change? Are you seeing that for good companies with good products and promise?
It absolutely has, and PNC has always continued to lend, and we will continue to lend in the markets that we serve. The increase in demand has been really, really interesting. And I would tell you that along with the demand has come the fact that approval rates on credit have improved dramatically as well. And I think that is a symptom of financial statements that are improving of borrowers, as well as real estate values stabilizing for the average customer as well. So certainly a tremendous increase in demand for credit, and we're starting to see a lot more deals get approved than we have since 2008.
So that begins to happen. You see more capital investment, you see more hiring, you see more stories like this going forward for the region.
Yeah.
And I know you do your survey through a very large footprint as PNC has grown and grown and grown. Is it roughly the same here in our area as you're seeing in other parts of the country?
Typically so, but I will tell you that, you know, Western Pennsylvania was not hit as hard as some of the other parts of the country. This is a pretty stable region for the most part, and so we don't get too high with the highs and we don't get too low with the lows. And so a great place to have a business, and I think we're seeing that today.
Okay, and you mentioned you're still looking for people.
We are going to be looking for a young, techie electrical engineer that's also really into engines. And that's when we open up our engineering center in our new addition, and that's going to be around August or September.
Wow, really exciting. One of those great, one of those great gems we have all over the region in terms of people really reinventing the way things work. Bruce Mallinson from the original Pittsburgh Power and Pete Vaccaro from PNC Bank. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, tips for our region's entrepreneurs from a guy who's been there and done it himself. Stay with us.